I have just had my worst experience ever playing Wild Rift, and I think it highlights major issues with the ranked matchmaking, and it's made me come to the conclusion that the matchmaking is completely broken and not worth your time and not worth pursuing any rank of any kind. So a bit of context here, I took a break for around 2 weeks after I made my video on playing Graves and Wild Rift, and I actually started playing League of Legends on the PC, and because the game's a lot slower and the skill level is a lot higher on full League of Legends, I had to spend a lot of time working on my skill, working on wave management, my macros, and over that time I got massively better. So I thought I might dip my toe back into Wild Rift just to see if I've actually got any better. And I was pretty happy to say I got massively better. So I played a few games with Master Yi, and if you played them or played against them, you know that people in Platinum or lower don't know how to deal with them at all. You can literally just clean through probably 50% of players who don't know how to actually prep against them unless people are smart enough to counter them. So I was doing pretty well, and in ranked, there was a period where I won every game, or I lost, but when I lost I got SVP. So they're trialing this new system where if you get SVP or S ranking on the losing team, your rank gets protected from losing a mark because you scored so highly in the game. Now what I will say is the game obviously wants to sustain a 50% win ratio, and as I was playing and doing well, I was winning games or getting SVP, I noticed that my teammates were getting progressively worse, and I was carrying the team a lot more as the games went on, even the losing team. And it's funny because the toxicity is still there. There's still players who are really bad being so toxic in the chat, blaming everybody else. It's just mind-boggling. There'll be some guy in mid who's gone like no kills, 6 deaths in 12 minutes and he's flaming the jungler or something. And I play jungle and I'm sitting there thinking, dude, it's not my fault you died 6 times. Maybe I could have helped you 1 or 2, but it's not my fault you died 6 times. That's your fault. But then I played this game, and this game was it was the worst experience of Wild Rift I've ever played, and it really brings into question the integrity of the matchmaking completely. I'm just going to have to really show you. So in this matchup, the Baron laner decided to choose Vi, which obviously doesn't work anyway, and they also equipped Smite. They made no communication to the rest of the team that they wanted to play jungle, nothing like that. I told them in the chat setting up, have you accidentally selected Smite? They ignored us. And then when the game started, it was awful. Literally this person decided that they were going to play jungle. I was playing Master Yi. Master Yi cannot play Baron, and I had Smite equipped. And you know that if a Baron laner has Smite equipped, the game is more than likely going to be a loss because they can't generate enough gold, and that's if they even play that lane. But this character didn't. They literally saw where I was going, ran to the other buff, and just cleared half my camp. Master Yi's a scaling character, he gets a lot better as it goes on, but I just couldn't do anything, and this meant that I had to then move into their jungle, try and steal the enemy's jungle, and I just got beaten because I had to play aggressively, and it wasn't working, and this person just continued to steal farm, get kills, and they went 0-12. And not only that, 2 other players were struggling as well massively, and there was one person from Emerald who was playing Vayne, and they were pretty good, and we were the only people in the chat talking about what was going on. And as well, they refused to surrender, and this went on for about 15 to 20 minutes before we lost, and it was absolutely horrific. And the person who was playing V literally just refused to communicate with anybody, and they literally just decided to take it upon themselves for our entire team to lose the game. Not only were they not playing their lane, which meant the Baron lane I had free farm, they also took away nearly half of my farm, which meant I also was under-leveled. They were just picking up kills. It was awful, and I'm in Platinum right now, right? And obviously you think Iron, Bronze, Silver, Gold, Platinum, that's 6 ranks, okay? And I played Gold, and even when I was playing Gold, I'm not saying I was good. I'm not saying I'm great now. I'm pretty okay, but at least I have knowledge of lanes and knowledge of where to go after lanes and things like that, and wave management. This is the thing. There's a difference between a player who is just a bad player. They play mid and they lose every game, as opposed to somebody actively stealing someone else's lane. And after the game, I just had to look at them and see what was going on, and I was shocked with what I saw. Okay, so here's the game. I was going to block the person's name out, but I decided that I don't really care that much. So, you know, you can see that other people struggled massively here, and I still managed 6 kills even though I was under-farmed massively. I literally had about 3,000 gold less than Lee Sin because of the fact that I was having my farm stolen, and you can see the amount of gold they got as well was 6,700. Now, they were given an award here. They were given an award for 215% damage taken compared to gold ratio. Don't know why someone's getting an award for that. Yeah, fair enough if you're support, but the fact that they're getting awarded for their shocking play is just downright disgraceful, I have to say. So that isn't what shocked me. What shocked me is the fact that they're Platinum rank 2. Now, I actually want to say that this was a couple of days ago, and they were actually Platinum rank 1 when I looked, and I was thinking, this person is a higher rank than me, and they've just thrown a game for an entire team. How can someone in a Platinum rank not know how the game works? So obviously, I had to have a look at their match history to see how they were performing, because I thought if someone's in Platinum, they must have thrown this game. Well, that's not the case. So here is their game when they played V, where they have clearly, I would say, purposefully thrown the game. When you look at their skill, they're clearly a terrible player. 0-8, 1-10, 4-12. Like, they've obviously been demoted. And the only game they won, they went 3-12. It makes you think, is this person just a troll? Are they essentially just abusing the matchmaking, where basically they play so badly, they actively throw games, get less goal, don't know what they're doing, so that they get matched with better players to be carried through? Obviously, we know how the matchmaking works in the sense of the better you play, because the game wants to maintain a 50% win ratio, is that actually the quality of teammates does drop. So is that what this person has used to actually essentially outrank me? I think it just brings into question, like, why are we even playing ranked matches when people like this actually exist in the same rank as you? Because to get a platinum, you still have to make your way through iron, bronze, silver, gold. And to get a platinum 1, most of platinum. And looking at this person, they literally are absolutely awful. Like, they've literally, of the last 20 games or so, they've had one game where they've had more kills than deaths. And they're playing mid, jungle, top lane, like, they're just performing so poorly. And I think the problem is the fact that you can abuse the ranked matchmaking system so that you can basically propel yourself up the ranks by playing bad. The worse you are, the better your teammates are. So essentially, if you get a platinum and then you start to lose every single game and play awfully, you will actually continue to get matched with really good players who will essentially keep your win rate at 50%, which basically makes it completely redundant. So I want to go over to Twitter quickly, because I think some people who know way more than me are talking about these issues, and also how this new beta where you can get an S ranking and have your mark protected is actually not good for general play. Okay, so it's a tweet here by Royal, who's an incredibly high level player who's got a YouTube channel himself. In this tweet, he basically talks about how players can essentially abuse wildrift system. So you can essentially farm S rank losses so your win rate drops but you maintain your rank. The matchmaking will then give you better teammates because of a low win rate, which essentially means you can be terrible but get an S rank, maintain your rank, and then be put with people who are way better than you, and they can then win the game for you. So it's actually a quote from this person, Michael M. So this guy, Michael, is a League of Legends coach, and he is essentially calling out Riot for such a bad patch, which is basically showing that you actually don't need to get any kills or do anything to contribute towards the team and still get an S rank if you play a certain character in a certain role. So essentially this is just showing Galio's Aegis, which is this limited time beta, which I can't see lasting, because not in the form it is now, because again, it doesn't work. Essentially, players that lose a match will not lose their ranking if they achieve an S level rating. And this takes precedent over events and ranked lost shields. I noticed I didn't actually get this loss protection in some of the games where I was playing SVP, and also when I've had achieved S, I've also found as well that it hasn't always worked for me. Sometimes it's still taken a mark off me, which is weird. This guy then goes on to basically say that gold and vision is basically the most important thing. So essentially you could just steal your team's jungle camps and then go back to your lane, and essentially this would guarantee you an S rank, which is absolutely crazy. So you're essentially making the jungler not be able to help the game, which means you'll probably lose, but you'll get an S rank. Essentially tanks that can heal like Sion and Maokai can just get S really easily because of how much healing they can do. Basically means there's certain characters that you are more likely to achieve an S rating with. And then this is the final part where it's basically saying losing is better than winning. If you play solo, because Riot is trying to force 50% win rate by matching good with bad players in the same team. He's showing this in, do you remember this? It still works. By securing an S ranking defeat, you eventually secure a win. Okay, so we're looking at this now, and as we can see, this person has no MVPs, no S ratings, no A's, no legendaries, and they have an 83% win rate. Their kill definition is 0.3, no team participation, champion damage taken. Now, this is obviously not to do with the beta, this is just showing that there was all the strategies that clearly still work. The problem is that before this beta came out, the matchmaking was already broken and they were already trying to maintain this 50% win ratio, so bad players were still being promoted through the ranks through just playing the game. Literally, you could lose 8-9 games in a row and eventually you'll be put with people who are so good they'll start to carry you. However, now with this protection, you could be the same person with the same skill, but as long as you just spend a little bit of effort trying to get an S rank, when you lose because you're so bad, you'll have your rank protected, which means bad players who know how to abuse the system can essentially continue to climb. And I think the person I was playing with in that game was trying to do that. They clearly did not play the game, but they chose to play Vi with Smite, so they could essentially steal my jungle incredibly quickly, but then try to go back to lane and also get minion farm from there. So they would try and get S rank and get their rank protected, because then they were hoping they would then be carried by someone else. And it's worked, because this person is one of the worst players I've ever seen, and this is in platinum rank. And not only did they ruin it for everybody else, they just were awful. Honestly, at one point, they were just trying to follow me around, trying to last hit camps that I was fighting. So right now, how do I feel? I think that actually it's not worth playing ranked right now because of this problem. Because if you play well, then you will literally be put with people who are doing this. I can honestly say, I don't think I feel like I've benefited from this kind of thing in any way, shape or form. I've never really I've never played a game where the other team's been so bad that I haven't had to actually fight and scrape to win. As I'm getting better, I would say as I've come off League of Legends now, the first 3 or 4 games were crazy easy because I knew about wave management. So when I was playing jungle in League and I just figured out how to gank better, that was really easy. Then after those 3 or 4 games of going 18, 20 kills in the game, I then started getting put in with these players who were essentially just trying to falsify and inflate their rank through abusing the matchmaking system. It's not a good place for wildrift right now. I think it's probably, I know the ranked season's ending and I think they really need to adjust what they're going to do because it's just not good. Let me know what you think about this. I know a lot of people are going to say, you just need to get better, blah, blah, blah. I know a lot of people say that, and ultimately, yeah, fair enough. If you're in Platinum, you probably could carry a game if you're good enough, as long as you play characters who are meta. I don't think I'm a great player, but I think I kind of belong in Platinum. But after seeing this, and the experience I had over a 2 or 3 day period where I was playing with people who honestly didn't even know to play in the right lanes or were purposely abusing the system, maybe I'm better than Platinum because clearly the skill level is actually so low. I think it's crazy that there's people who have never had a positive K-death ratio and then people who are actually spending time trying to improve their gameplay and get better are in the same rank, because clearly there's some disparity here. And I just think this whole 50% win ratio is just absolutely ridiculous. I've said in a previous video that you shouldn't try and maintain 50% win ratio. It's not done to improve competitiveness. It's done just to make more money from the players, essentially, because eventually you'll get a 50% win ratio, or you'll hit a point where you are not good enough to be in a certain rank and you have to be relegated, and then you'll have to then evaluate why you're not good enough, and it'll actually make everyone better. It'll make the standard so much higher. But let me know your thoughts on this, because I'm feeling a little bit deflated about Wild Rift after this experience. It just feels like it just doesn't seem like it's worth my time.